I got a chance to check out a new power chair. It was the ROVI X3. I guess the chair's been around for a few years now. I had never heard of it. I came across it randomly when I was looking at videos on YouTube, took a look at it, seemed kind of cool, wound up getting a hold of the guys on Twitter, and turns out they have a rep here in Portland that had one of the chairs. So we went out and met at a friend's mobility store and got to check out the chair. Now, I didn't get to take it on any sort of long runs like we've done with the previous chairs, but basically just spent maybe an hour with it. I hopped into the thing, ran around with it, and it had a lot of really cool options for controls, other than just a joystick. There was different places you could put the joystick. They had sort of a proximity switch pad, bunch of other neat things. Yeah, so that's like the style you'd have on the little three-wheel scooters or whatever, but...
Exactly. So somebody's making a transition, let's say they maybe have MS.
Yeah.
And they're making a transition from a scooter. That's something that you can do. And then also,
Joyrider.
it's all midline, so you just pop it.
Yeah.
There's no wires.
Oh, nice. So it's got all the connection pins right in there.
So
nice.
It's called active control. So now you got somebody who's in an evaluation.
You can just try a bunch of different stuff.
Try a bunch of stuff when it used to take 3 appointments over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Now I can stick, all sorts of different drive controls.
Yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of wiring and whatnot hanging off of this chair. This is their demo unit. It has every available option that you can get for it, and they carry all the supplies and all the parts around with them. So the wires and stuff hanging off the side of it, it's just because of that. If you were to choose a specific option, control system, it would be cleaned up a lot more than this. So just kind of ignore all the wires and everything you see that's not bolted down and stuff hanging off of it. And you can just kind of get an idea of the general concept of the chair and what it has to offer. But the RNet stuff is really good at putting on different accessories and things like that. Or doing a lot of different options.
You don't have to cut. You don't have to have an elevator pit.
This just clamps.
That's the idea.
On here, I was going to see how you took that off.
What it does is.
Oh, it kind of is a seat pan.
There's a seat pan that goes under. If you have it, this is for evaluation, so it just comes on and off with Velcro.
Okay, cool.
If you.
So we're here checking out this new wheelchair. It's the ROVI X3. And apparently they have a ton of different attachments or drive controls for this thing, including, I didn't bring the scooter thing in here, but they have center mount controls. So this is kind of between your knees. And there's a universal bracket system that slides under the seat base, and that just basically plugs right in here. And they're using a newer version of the RNet joysticks. This is the one with the much larger screen. And they have the Omni controls available as well. He had to go to the other side to get some tools, but yeah, it looks like a pretty simple mid-wheel drive chair. It's got suspension on each corner. So once he gets this thing going, I'm gonna hop into it and see how it is. Oh yeah, dude, that's the shop vac elevator.
Dude,
you can probably ride it. I think they still have it powered up.
That's so cool.
It literally sounds like a shop vac when it turns on.
Yeah, that's like when you go to the bank's drive-up teller machine.
Yeah, but human-sized.
Human-sized.
Yeah.
It's sucked up.
Oh, you can go up there. They'll demo it for you. It's hooked up and everything. Yeah. You probably want to talk to them before you use it, though. They're always happy to demo the elevators.
Does that just go up and then drop them? It doesn't go anywhere but to there?
Yeah, there's another door against the wall that opens, but
right there.
Yeah, it's closed, so you don't leap off into nowhere. Got little lights in the fenders, front and back. It was bright. Right. Definitely shining some lights. Is there anything on any lights on the back at all? I noticed when he's pulling it out of the van, the front casters are connected to the motors, so as you go forward, they kind of, as the motors rotate, it sort of picks everything up. Suspension's actually pretty good on this thing. Might have to go outside though and hit the drains and stuff. Alright, gotta try the seat elevator now. about as fast as everything else. In the pictures I saw, it looked like a scissor lift sort of thing. Hey.
All right, who wants to ride?
It's elevator time.
You're the tallest person I've seen in here. I love
Ow, it's gonna hit my head.
it. So, the arrow button behind you, that top button, yep, that's gonna take you up, and then the cab will settle.
Okay.
And then you have to wait about 30 seconds before you can hit and come back down.
Alright.
We got ourselves a big man and a tree.
Yeah, we do.
All right, turn off the lights. Let's leave.
Is Scott okay? Scott isn't okay.
How was that?
That was trippy.
Do you feel like an envelope inside of a bank teller system?
Yeah.
I think you feel more like the money.
The money, yes.
Money.
Speaking of elevators, look how tall I am right now.
Whoa.
This thing goes pretty high.
Yeah, that looks pretty nice, actually.
It's like flashing red and green at me. What kind of is it a scissor lift? I can't see underneath there.
Where?
Okay, now we gotta find some bumpiness somewhere without getting hit by cars. This thing's actually really smooth. I mean, it doesn't go very fast, but the bumps are like no big deal. That's only going 5.3 right now for some reason. Yeah, they must have turned it down or something. They do have 3 options for speed with this chair. They have a 5 mile an hour, a 5.8, I think, and a 6.2. 6.2 is the fastest speed option available. Now, for people that are used to 6.5 and up, obviously it's not going to go that fast. They don't have an option for that. But what you are trading off for that is a very superior suspension system, and the chair is really compact and really maneuverable. Yeah, so the thing actually works pretty well on the bumps. Let's hit this drain here. Just like it's not even there. Oop, didn't set up for that turn properly. And I confused the gyroscope trying to do that little maneuver just now. There we go. So while this looks like a mid-wheel drive chair, it behaves like a front-wheel drive. And going through doors, you have to turn as if it was a front-wheel drive chair. Otherwise, you'll get stuck on things. It is interesting, even though it's technically a mid-wheel drive chair and it has 6 wheels, it behaves more like a front-wheel drive chair when it turns. The center wheels, instead of being right underneath where you're sitting, are pushed forward a little bit more, which is nice because I like how front-wheel drive chairs are able to maneuver in tight spaces.
For real.
It's so simple.
Ah, so they still have the super awesome leg lift actuators. It's sort of a, not quite scissor lift, but it's a very strong mechanism.
That looks crazy beefy.
Yeah, I've always liked Motion Concepts seating
Look at
stuff.
That, man. That is actuators full on out there in like a scissor-ish.
That's cool.
Okay, that's too far up.
Too much.
So it will definitely go further up
go
than you
straight.
want. Yeah, like maybe a little bit past straight.
That would be nice for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd like that as much as I would.
No, I like to get my legs up high to like stretch, but a lot of the chairs don't go that high.
Well, that's a full metal case.
Yeah, so this is the, wait, is this one? This one reminds me more of plastic, although,
No, that's plastic.
yeah, this one's plastic, but this one has a bigger screen too, and more buttons, so this is a slightly different controller.
And
Let's
not
see.
the Permobile. Is that
Bluetooth Apple, what?
what?
Yeah, this one is plastic. So the one I took apart the other day is slightly smaller and is actually made from metal. What the heck are these little sensors here? It's like ambient light sensors or something. Wait, if you cover it up, see if it gets darker. It doesn't seem to.
No, I don't think it is. But I bet you there's a setting that there is one.
Yeah.
That's like on a cell phone.
Yeah, so I guess you got the Bluetooth link. I don't know if that works or not, but... Yeah, it was only going up to like 5.4 miles an hour. I don't think it's turned up all the way. in the programming.
It's a really pretty. Whoa.
Oh, now the backlights are yellow.
Hazard? No, that's all.
Oh,
hazard.
so it has turn signals also. So you got your headlights with your brake lights,
What?
and then also turn signals. See, they're red and yellow.
No, that is epic. What?
And then your four-way lights. That sound is obnoxious, though. Oh my gosh.
Can you? But you do that through a manual touch, though.
Yeah, there's a little button here on the side.
Whoa! Look at that temp gauge, or look at that mile per hour gauge.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not set up to top speed all the way right now. I wish it was, but yeah, the suspension's like super good on this thing.
Oh, how is it rolling around?
Good.
I would complain about saying, you know,
Especially if you're going to be in a vehicle. I mean, that's.
that's a lot of sway.
And this side's a little better,
But
but.
it's not also the motor, dude. It's the suspension too.
Oh yeah, you're right. The suspension is flexing as
Because
well.
look at the motor going up about a quarter inch.
Oh yeah, so I guess it is rotating. Let's see.
Wow, that's much easier. That's much harder when
Oh.
you're trying to spin the motor. So
Okay, so it is suspension flex. It's not the gearbox.
interesting. Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. I thought that was the gear wrong.
Now, with everything, there are trade-offs. When you have suspension that's really good, it affects how the chair behaves when it's stopped. This chair, when you're sitting on it, it feels like you're sitting on sprung suspension. You can tell. When you move around a little bit, the suspension moves. It's all adjustable, so, you know, depending on weight or how you want it to feel, it can be adjusted. But just interesting to note, if you're in a vehicle, you definitely want to make sure this chair is strapped down good, because the suspension moves around a little bit, and if you're in a moving vehicle, it's not unsafe in any way, but the thing is gonna move around a little bit more than you might be used to on another chair that does not have really good suspension. Like a front wheel drive.
There
Yeah,
it is. So it's got a vertical shock.
yeah. There's shocks in the front and then in the back as well. But yeah, it behaves like a front wheel drive chair, which is great for maneuverability. I just wish they had faster motor options, but although this thing is only going up to 5.3 right now. I'm going to go back around out front and see if I can get him to turn it up. We're gonna see if we can get the speed turned up on this thing a little bit. Yeah, 85. So now
Yeah,
let's put it up all the way. There we go.
100% seat speed.
That's fine. Everything else should be fine.
I guess so. Yeah.
Leave the acceleration or whatever the same. So I just mode out here. Power off. Cool.
That's simple.
All right, let's try that again.
The screens are huge.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was noticing that this one, the slightly smaller version of this is a metal one, but this one is plastic, which is kind of interesting. It has a couple more buttons too. But yeah, the slightly smaller version of this one
Program these buttons.
to do different stuff.
Do different stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's see now. Have to go in here. Actually, I'll probably have to go outside because it took the full length of this to get up to 5.3. Okay, full speed. 6.2. Yeah, there we go. A little bit faster now.
What's it showing?
6.2.
Oh, good.
Up on that front part there again. So the front suspension comes up and the motor is attached to that mechanism, but it's not directly attached.
Correct. It's moving, but not
Yeah, so
all the
a
way
lot of chairs, the way they do it is that front caster is on a direct pivot arm to that motor, and you don't really have suspension. All it is just sort of a pivot.
Yeah.
But this actually has a disconnect between the two. They are linked, but there is some dampening between the front caster arm and the motor. And really on this thing, even running around at speed, you know, hitting drain covers and potholes or whatever, like, you really can't tell. I mean, even in this Amy Systems chair I'm sitting in, which has amazing suspension, I might say this is a pretty good runner-up. If not, maybe about the same, maybe better. I don't know. I would need to use it a little bit more and see, but yeah, the suspension on this thing is actually really good.
I mean, this is what we do for evaluations, you know.
But it'll actually attach or screw in.
Yeah,
or
once you find it, because this material is, when you're putting torque on it, it just doesn't hold. It's too thin.
Well,
So you can just
your
run.
body weight would hold that even.
You're
typically.
really, you probably don't need to worry about it except for your body weight, but you know, it's probably a good idea to really attach it.
There's it's also like, you know, you gotta, it's just if somebody can be aware all the time that they're sitting on it versus, you know, it being bolted in. But you're right, if they're gonna use it every day as a driver, bolt it.
Exactly. For evaluations, it's great, but it's good to have it bolted.
Are these set up for seating here, or okay? Yeah, they.
Memory seating.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh wow.
I don't feel bad that it cost me motion money because
So we've got a joystick with a little tray on
I
it.
just have no communication.
And then check this one out. We've got a switch array here.
What is that?
That's proximity switches.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so you basically just move your hands around to do the different, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you've got.
That's a super modular system.
How far is
And
that
is this like a
box?
chin control?
It is. I'll have to show you that one. See if I can get it hooked.
Yeah, they got all kinds of accessories. This one's cool with a little table though. Unfortunate placement.
It's a little joystick. Darn cool.
Yeah, so you pop this part open and then you can position these wherever you want to, wherever it's best for the person to control them. Nice. Yeah, little spring-loaded pins.
What's really cool about this is that it is a pressure joystick.
Okay.
So you don't need to have any deflection whatsoever.
Oh,
What do you
really?
mean by that?
So in this particular case, Active Controls has put this, so you get this from Switch It, and it's got a plastic ball that's a little bit smaller than this. It's on top of the stem. And all you're doing to make the chair move is pressure.
Gotcha.
So this is not moving this at all.
So
It's
it
just
doesn't need it.
it's just pressure. The problem with that is if you're going over, you know,
Bump or something.
bumps and that kind of stuff. A, you could take your teeth out if you're, you know, driving like this. But it also affects how you steer the chair. Anyway, so what they did was they took the shaft, put a spring on it, put a kind of silicone ball on top. So now this can be totally cleaned, you know, and
Yeah.
infection control. It's bigger, it's tactile so that it's sticky instead of the plastic one that's slippery, especially if it gets wet. But now when you push, it's got a little spring to it. Some people need that in order to understand that they're moving forward, because it's kind of weird to not have to have deflection, which is like you're touching your accelerator on the car and it's going.
Yeah.
But it's not moving.
Then, you know, if you push down, then you go, oh, now I'm moving. So that's kind of nice from that perspective too. But a lot of times we'll go over a bunch of bumps and you kind of have to stop and sit there for a minute and wait for your chair to settle down, right?
Right? Yeah.
No, it's true. Or you just have to hit full speed and put a lot of pressure against your chair so that the bumps don't bring your hand off of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, so I guess I could see what you're saying. Like, yeah, it does have a nice roll on the top. So like.
Oh, and it is directional. Cool. Yeah, because when we were down in Florida playing Power Soccer, there was a couple of guys using chin controls, but they were the hard little plastic balls.
And that's the thing about this. Let's take it down here. Let's see if I can get some speed going.
How would you go in reverse? Would you put your chin on top and pull back?
Yeah.
Or bite it or
use your
something.
lip. I got
Yeah.
you. I
You
see
could
what
be
you're
using
doing.
your lip, you could be using your tongue, you could stick it in your mouth if you want, but here's what happens when you have this on the spring that Active Controls does. So normally, you'd be hitting all sorts of stuff if you're all over the place. Watch this.
Oh, it evens it out.
It's consistent.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So you're not getting jumped or all over the place.
Yeah, the computer's evening everything out.
Exactly.
That's cool.
That's exactly what I was talking about. That one might have switched out.
Oh, that's actually not bad. Yeah, okay, that's
You're not
cool.
really pushing through the motors. I mean, it's a
Some of them don't have like an actual neutral, but these seem pretty good.
Yeah.
Some of them, like, you're turning the gears and everything as
right.
you're doing
You're,
it, but
you're actually pushing through the motor.
Yeah.
So with this one, you're not.
yeah, that's cool.
But 400-pound chair. That's
Yeah. When it comes time for me to get another chair, and if insurance is going to buy me one, it'll definitely be one of those things. It's really awesome.